Hi Flosstube, it's Stonehouse Stitcher. I decided to do the video in front of our stone fireplace. So as you can see, some of the stone is what we have on the outside of our house as well. So I thought a little bit of a change of scenery would be good. I'm videotaping this a day early. My husband took the kids out, so I had to take advantage of the opportunity. At any rate, my stitching for the last about a week and a half since I shot the last video, and since then it's kind of been busy both on a stitching front and on a work front. So I traveled to Phoenix, Arizona for work this past week, and I did a quick round of all of the needlework shops in the area. So not only cross stitch but also needlework or needlepoint shops too. So at any rate, I'll kind of show you what I got from there. And then as soon as I got home, from 80 some degree weather to 30 some degree weather and snow, I went to the Stitchville Stitch-In. So the last Friday of every month at Stitchville USA in Minnetonka, Minnesota, they have some ladies that get together and stitch for the evening from about 6 p.m. to midnight, sometimes later. I was way too tired to stay very late, but I really wanted to go because I hadn't been there in a few months. So I'll talk about that because for those of you who are, in the Stitch Mania groups in Flosstube, you know that there's actually a retreat going on in Chanhassen this weekend. So Stitchville, being the LNS in town for primarily cross stitch, there were some Flosstube sightings while we were at Stitch-In, so I'll talk about that as well. So at any rate, let me start on my whips and my progress. So the good thing about business trips is, especially on the flights, I get a lot of stitching in. During the week when I'm actually working, I don't. Primarily because I'm, even with the time change, my days usually start at 6 a.m. and we're going out to dinners until 8 or 10 p.m. and then I'm exhausted. So I don't get a lot of chance to stitch during the day when I'm actually on the trips, but the flights lend to a lot of stitching time. So I do have, if you've been watching my videos, I do have about 3 whips in rotation right now. This week though, the blue band sampler has just been addicting, and so honestly I didn't stitch on the other 2. I've primarily been focusing on the blue band sampler. So this is it. Pretty soon I'm gonna need to scroll. But at any rate, when you saw it last, I think I was about here, this first row of letters. And so since then, as you can see, I've made quite a bit of progress, which I'm very happy about. This is week 5, and at the bottom is week 10. So in about a week and a half, I've done almost 5 weeks worth of stitching. So I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Interestingly enough, I noticed that in the pattern, the J is not there. And when I asked about it, they said some alphabets don't have J's. And so it was a little weird to not stitch a J, but I got over it. So that's what that looks like, and that was my stitching progress for the last week and a half. I don't know if that's a lot or not, but that's what I was able to get accomplished. So that's it for whips. I wish it were more. Haul, on the other hand, whole different story. And if you've been paying attention at all, my haul is greatly outnumbering the amount of progress I'm making on a whips perspective. I don't know what I'm going to do. The designers have been coming out with some amazing patterns lately. I went through a dry spell of not buying a lot because there weren't a lot of things that came out that I liked, but for whatever reason, the designers are going gangbusters on things that I like. So, it's causing me issues. At any rate, what I thought I'd start with is some Needleminders that I got. So these are from Brenda Green's, or I should say Brenda's Minders and More, and she's on Facebook. So look her up. But I got some great Needleminders, or at least I think so. And it's kind of funny because I stitch in hand, so I don't use Needleminders all that much, except I also do needlework. So I do use them there, but I've been concentrating mostly on my cross stitching, so I haven't had a chance to use them, but I still love them and have to collect them. So I'm going to show you some of these. So I love dragons. I was born in the year of the dragon, and my college mascot was a dragon, just so happens. So I really love dragons, and obviously Halloween, so those are the eyes. And every morning I get a fried egg for breakfast, and that's just so cute. I thought that was really cute. So that's that. Here's some more, a little sparkly gecko and a little fish with squiggly eyes. I don't know if you can make those move, and a pink butterfly. This I thought was, whoops, one of them just fell, bit the bullet. I love this eye. I thought that was really cool. And this actually opens up. So I thought that was neat. These are some more. My mom is a breast cancer survivor, so usually I go for a lot of breast cancer type stuff. I also love bees, so I had to pick these up. And then I also love elephants, and so this is kind of like it opens up to a locket. And I don't know, I love the fall, so I had to get that leaf. And then to continue with Halloween, oh, I just love her. Love her, love her. So that's what I got from Brenda's Minders and More out of Facebook. And keeping on Minders, so when I was down in Phoenix, I stopped at a shop, I think it's called Family Arts Needlework, and it's mostly needlepoint that they have there. But I loved this little ladybug needleminder. It's from Tango Chocolate. They do amazing needleminders and fobs actually, but they've really gone into painting canvases now, so you don't see these as much, but I just thought that that was such a cute needleminder. I just had to get them. All right, so that was part of my trip to Phoenix, and so like I said, I toured all the shops. They were great shops. Of course, the highlight, of course, was the attic in Mesa, and I've been there before. I've taken classes there, and actually I'm going to be taking another class. I'm so excited. So Jackie Duplessis, I'm going to go take a class from her. I think it's the first weekend in November, so I'm going back down to the attic for that. So of course I'll have much more on that. But I mean, when I went in there, I had to get to work, and it was the last shop that was closest to my work location, so I literally went in there with my list and asked them to help me find some things. So, and I also went on their newsletter. So for those of you who don't know, atticneedlework.com, they publish a newsletter twice a month, and I mean, I went through their newsletter basically and just picked out stuff that I wanted, and then made my list and went down there and said, help me find all these things super fast because I got to get going and actually work. So anyway, they had their Halloween table set up, and I love these pins. Love, love, love these pins. And take a look at the packaging. I thought the packaging was just amazing. It's like a little gravestone type thing. But these are the pins that I got. And on the back, the business card, I guess, of the person who makes them, it's Citrus Manor Creations. The owner is Carol Eiche, E-I-C-H-E. Otherwise, you can call the attic. And I think they had one set left, or at least that was put out there. So if you're looking for those. Some other things that I got there that aren't unique to there, but I got this So Witchy from Scarlet House. And they also had this model stitched up, which I loved. It's called the Bent Creek Spooky Row, and I've never seen it before, which is rare. I feel like I see everything. Hadn't seen this, and they picked an amazing fabric. It's a little bit darker green, and I think it had a purple frame. I mean, it just popped. And it comes with, which isn't on the picture of the pattern itself, But it comes with all these buttons. Look at all the buttons. Amazing. Just incredible. So, had to get it. For those of you who know the attic, there are big, huge into samplers. If you go into the attic, wall-to-wall samplers. It's probably the best display of samplers that I've ever seen. And so one of the samplers that I got, because it was in the newsletter, all stitched up, because what I'm going to show you, the picture does not do it justice. So look it up in their newsletter, is this big cat sampler from GGR. And it does not do it justice at all. But if you look at the one in the newsletter, just the recent one that was out, it's just beautiful. And because I am a big project stitcher, I kind of like having these small motifs, because then it feels like I have a finish. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The other thing that's been hitting the internet really hard is the sister samplers. So for those of you who don't know, the Hands Across the Sea samplers reproduced samplers from two sisters, the Ufendel, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, samplers. And so basically the story is each of these sisters did a sampler, and from those antique samplers, they reproduced them into this book that's limited edition, selling like hotcakes. So the Hands Across the Sea samplers is sold out of them. Everything they had in stock is now in the shops. So you just have to call around and find them. I didn't know this, but actually Stitchville got a few copies in, and if I would have known that, I probably would have got them at Stitchville, being my home LNS. But the samplers, the new ones, were actually at the attic when I was there, and they are stunning, and they are big. I think they were even stitched on 40 count, and they're still huge. But they were pretty stunning, I have to admit. So the history is written in these books. It's like a color page. But anyway, here it is. Here's the big drawback. And then for a little bit more in detail, and then you flip it, and here's the other one. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to this, but I don't know. I just had to have it. So, there's that. So that is what I got from my attic haul. So I want to talk a little bit about Stitchville Stitchin'. So, I was there that night, or last night, and that's the first night that the Midwest Cross Stitchers group was getting together in Chanhassen to do their Flosstube and the groupies stitching for the weekend. And so when I went to Stitchville, I was thinking, oh, I might see a couple, and I did. So Ginger Gerald was there, along with Joan, queen of quite a lot. So they're both Flosstubers. And, you know, it's just weird to go into a stitch shop because you're kind of anonymous. But then to see a Flosstuber, it's like, oh, wow, I've seen them on TV. So I went up and introduced myself. And they're just such down-to-earth people. You know, Gerald was great. Just, you know, straight shooter, just really appreciated him a lot. And Joan, so Joan and I were talking just a little bit. She actually lives really close to me, and so you might see us both together in a Flosstube video in the future, because we both have a hard time talking to our phones by ourselves. And so we thought it might be easier if we can just talk side by side and maybe play off of each other a little bit, and hopefully, you know, make it a little bit more fun for us and hopefully for you. So Joan and I might do a Flosstube video together since we live so close. So looking forward to trying that out and just getting to know her better since we are so close. So I'm looking forward to that. At any rate, so of course I can't leave Stitchville without a few things. So as part of the Brenda Gervais Schoolhouse series, she also did some horn books for part 4, and so I picked that up. That's what the front of that looks like. Have I started them? No. But I got the horn book. Oh, and my other purchase at the attic, I did get the white box that you can paint to actually display all the items in there. Stitchville wasn't going to carry them. So when I was down at the attic, I picked that up too. Just saying. And then I picked a few things up out of the clearance boxes at Stitchville. She had a ton of stuff in the clearance boxes. After about 2 boxes, I kind of got sick of searching, and it's kind of like Facebook. You kind of get sucked in, and it's like, oh, I just want to get some stitching done. So at any rate, I got Bright Needles Dollhouse. You can see that. I got a Bent Creek Scary Stack. Like I said, these are all on clearance. Halloween. Birds of a Feather All Hallows Night. You know, the sad thing is, it's like, I was just standing there thinking, God, do I have these? I hope not. And Scared Silly. An oldie but goodie. So I got those. And that's not all the haul. There's still more. And again, no judging, but I got it. You know, I think my goal next year should be just stitching on smalls, or maybe just not projects that are so big, just so I can get through some of my stash. It's getting kind of ridiculous. But at any rate, I got a few things from 123 Stitch. Kringle and Woolard from Plum Street Samplers. And this one, they still had this in stock. So it was the Primitive Needle, the old game board. So I remember when these first came out, and I was like, oh, so what's so exciting about that? But, you know, there's something about the simplicity of it that I just love. So I had to get it. I also got the Drawn Thread sampler game board. And then I got the Addams Family from Plum Street. Love it. Now from Stash Unload on Facebook, I got the Hornbook sampler. I love that. I'm going to probably put it on the smallest count I possibly can and just have a little hornbook. I think that's cute. I also got Hare's Summer from Plum Street. If you see a theme of Plum Street, good theme. Primitive Crow, this is new out. This is from Threadwork Primitives. I also got, and this was on eBay, I got the hair game board from the Primitive Needle. And I'm searching for the hollow game board. So if any of you have it, call me. I got this too. When I saw it, I loved it. I'm really getting into ink circles a lot in Long Dog samplers. But I just love this. And it's called the Big Red Ship of Life. And as you know about the Blue Band sampler, I couldn't stitch it in anything but blue because it was called the Blue Band sampler. But I have to say, I'm not sure I want to stitch this in red. So then you might ask, well, what color do you want to stitch it in? I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of, I don't know, black, teal, brown, blue. I don't know. I don't know. But it's a ship, so I don't know. I have a hard time putting it in red. So, and then a couple others from Stash Unload. This is Prairie Moon. They will too fit under the seat. D-Sampler. And Here's Winter from Plum Street. So a few other things. Yes, there's still more. I kind of went crazy. This is from Barb Adams and Alma, Autumn Song. I just love the fall colors in this. So I picked that one up. I always love this one too. This one, so Catherine Theron, I love her designs, and I got this little horn book, strawberry horn book, I believe it's called, tiny strawberry horn book, and look at that. Horn book, it's very cute, all the threads, love it. Then I cut a couple other small ones that off of Stash Unload too. So yeah, that's it, I think. I'm sure I got more things around, but that's what I got for you today. So thanks for watching. I'm trying to think, I'm probably going to be late with my next video because it'll fall on the weekend that I'm going to be at the attic for the class. But hopefully I can show you some stuff from that class when I'm there. And it's a little bit different. It's not just cross stitch, but if any of you know Jackie Duplessis, she is just an amazing designer, and she actually creates smalls and other things that are just adorable. So there's a handful of Minnesota Stitchers that are going to go down to Phoenix. There are also people from around the world that come and take her classes. So I'm going to be taking 4 of her classes starting Friday, going through Monday of the first weekend of November. So this video will be a little late as I do that, or maybe I'll do a video there. I don't know. We'll see. At any rate, in the meantime, you know, I'm kind of getting the itch to go back to the Halloween of Hawkrun Hollow project. I admit I'm getting, I'm regretting that I didn't do a smaller count than 32 count. I'm kind of wishing I would have done 40, but I don't think I'm gonna go back now. I'm kind of invested. I'm not at a point where I couldn't start over, but I don't know. I don't want to start over. So I'm kind of gonna, I'm looking at that, and then I'm gonna continue on this baby here. My poor chatelaine. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of steam. The fact that what I showed you on the last video, those beads that I can't get straight, it bothers me, and so I think I just need a break until I figure out how I'm going to fix that. So at any rate, thank you so much for your comments and your kind words. I really do appreciate it, but I hope all of you get a lot of time stitching. So until next time, bye.